Have you ever wondered if the pain you've been carrying around is actually trying to teach you something? This week on Next Level Healing, near death experiencer Debra Martin shares what she learned after dying 3 times, surviving cancer, and discovering her extraordinary healing abilities. If you've ever struggled with trauma, grief, anxiety, or feeling like you're not enough, this conversation may change the way you see your life forever. We have the fabulous Debra Martin here. She died 3 times, and each story is amazing. She's on my podcast, Next Level Healing. God, that was about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like time goes by fast.
I know. It's just so nuts. But she's absolutely delightful. And we've been talking about her Army for Love, which she offers the first Tuesday of every month at 3 p.m. Arizona time. So jot that down. She's had wonderful miracle healings occur. We've just been discussing some of them, but we'd love to, open it up so that people can ask questions and we can just talk about the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual healings that can be experienced either by somebody who's wonderful like Debra and holding that angelic space and just allowing spirit to heal and open up that receivership. Welcome, Laura. It's so nice to see you.
So excited to be here.
Christy, nice to see you. So we were just talking about some of the healings that Debra has in her Army for Love, which is the first Tuesday of every month. And we can put this all in the chat box before we leave, and we'll mention it a few times, but because it's a wonderful service that she offers free, where people can just go and be open to this beautiful group angelic healing. Do you want to just, Debra, give us a little background on why you started that? How long?
Yeah. So I was going through cancer treatment, and the first thing that I heard the divine tell me is build your army for love. And the 4 is an actual number 4. And it's just like build your support around you. And then after I finished, I'm like, I want to start a group. And it started with COVID because everybody was dealing with COVID and stress and how to walk through it and how to help others and what they were witnessing. And there was a lot of stress. So after COVID, I was like, I need to continue this. And so what it is it's a global community that we hold each other with love. There is no judgment, no politics, and people can come in and share what they're dealing with. A lot of times people that join, they'll have similarities. So there's usually a topic that happens that kind of just forms in that group. And at the end, I do a mini healing. And what we do is I say, put your intentions out for what you would like to be healed or a loved one to be healed, or if you're just holding space for the group. And then we all go into it. I close my eyes, I lean back like this. They're all recorded. And we witness miracles right on the screen, all of us. It's just like the things that transpire. I mean, one lady came and she's explaining what she's going through. And another lady said, I'm going through that too. And I found this beautiful music that was on YouTube. And she said, she goes, I can't remember, but this was the line. Then that lady goes, was it so-and-so? And she goes, yeah. She goes, that's me. And I was like, what? And so they immediately had that connection, and they had both joined for the first time. So I just love how the divine puts everybody together at that right moment. But it's beautiful for you to see something in action, right? So when I do private healings, it's not on Zoom. So when I actually see the transformation happening right in that moment, and everybody else gets to see it too, it's quite magical.
I love that. Well, I'm going to be attending one coming up because I haven't been to one yet, and it sounds absolutely delightful.
Yay, I would love that. You would bring a lot of energy.
I would love that. And I don't have a group like that currently. Well, I have a Tuesday, actually, several people here have been in my Tuesday mastermind group, which is just before this happens. And yeah, it's a nice place for people to ask questions and share their wins and what the challenges are and things like that. But this direct
similar
time healing that you have is really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So who's got some questions for Debra? Don't be shy.
Oh, everybody's going to be shy. That's usually how it starts, right?
Till the questions start pouring in. The only silly question is the question you don't ask.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest questions is, for me, is people go, well, they get stuck in a term like, I have cancer, right? Now, that cancer, whatever type of cancer that is, or whatever term that diagnosis is, that diagnosis becomes almost identity. We give power to it. And then how do we take our own power back, right? We have to really look at it as this is just a little piece of us. It's not all of us. And we are so much more powerful with that than that. And I think if we put our consciousness and our brain, the way it works, and our soul, our intuitiveness, and we align it together, it really can shift things within the body and know that there's more things possible out there for you than just one way of healing. I think people get stuck in just one way, and there's so many modalities. And I would say, check out those modalities and see what feels right for you. Because there's really no right or wrong way. But if it doesn't feel like it's a fit for you, then look for something else, because there's so much. And that's what I learned with my cancer. I did go through radiation and chemo. And I learned by going through that what others go through with cancer, so that I have that experience. So I'm like, okay, this is something that I'm learning, and being able to help understand clients more. But I also learned something else, to use every tool in your toolbox. It doesn't have to just be one way. So, and I also think that healing is linear. I think that,
Hey guys, studies are showing that 68% of people that watch podcasts regularly don't click the subscribe button. Do me a huge favor. If you like this content, click subscribe so other people know where to go for the cool stuff. Thank you.
we are here having a human experience, and we're going to always need healing, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual. It's growth, right? We grow from these things. And it can be as simple as being sad. I'm sad for what my daughter is going through, a breakup. Well, that's healing. You got to heal. How are you gonna heal that emotion? Are you gonna just push it aside? Are you gonna say, I don't want to deal with that? Or are you gonna listen to it and embrace yourself and say, I just got to take some time for me to process, digest, so I can help her, right? So I think that healing comes in so many ways, and it's something that we always need.
I love that you said that. In fact, we were talking about that on the mastermind call this morning. It's like, well, things can happen really quickly. It's like if we get to a breaking point and we're like, okay, that's not for me anymore, things can happen really quickly. And certainly getting to the root of something in the subconscious mind, people do often just, it's like all of a sudden the thing's not there anymore. But often it also is just step by step by step. And I love that you said it's not one size fits all, because it truly isn't. And if it's a frequency game, then it's all about the thing that helps us shift our frequency.
Yeah, and I think you'll relate to this. Like, some people will heal instantly, and some people it happens as a process in divine timing. And it's like I said, it's not one way for everyone. And I think that it unfolds and it's beautiful. And I think healing, like even for me during cancer, I didn't know what was going on inside. But what freed me from it was by telling myself, I'm okay. I'm okay right now. And no matter what happens, I'm still okay. And so I didn't give power to all the what ifs. I stayed in that moment. I'm safe. I'm okay, no matter what happens. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't want to pass, right? I didn't want that. That's your human feeling. But I did know that deep down, no matter what, I was going to be okay. And I think that just frees you from holding on what you have and loving yourself and I used to talk to my cancer. I used to talk to it and say, I used to call it the beast. Okay, beast, what are you going to teach me today? What do we got going on? And if I had a shitty day, because I had shitty days, I mean, it wasn't all rosy. I'm like, this is a shitty day. I'd have to find one piece of joy. I'd have to listen to a bird. If I couldn't take a walk because I was too weak, all right, well, I can listen to the birds outside. Let the joy come to me. That would raise that vibration. So it wasn't all shitty, right? You're bringing that in. But by talking to the cancer, I was also embracing my body with love. I believe that we have to love ourselves during those times. It's like a child that's sick. You embrace them. Embrace yourself. No matter if you're struggling emotionally with a situation, a career change, a relationship change, feel it. We have to feel to heal. We have to walk through it. We have to really give ourself that time to recognize it, talk to it, embrace it. Now, there's times where you might think, I'm so frustrated. I've been sick for so long. When is this going to end? Frustration can also be resistance. So recognize that frustration. Go through it. I'm not saying don't go through it, because we have to feel our emotions. We have to walk through them. But then say, okay, how's this serving me? I need to return to love. I need to look at my body and say, there was a time when I was really healthy. When was that? Can you remember? Can you visualize a time when you were laughing, even if it was when you were a child? When was that time? And if you can't, get photos out. Bring that time in so you can see that space, that visual, because what happens to the brain is it remembers that state of wellness, right? And so you want to take that frustration back to that state and saying, you know what? You really are magnificent. Look what you're doing. You're still functioning. You're still breathing. And breath is a gift. That's one thing we should use in healing. Use the free thing that you have, the free tool you have, and use breath as breathing through anxiety, through this frustration, and bring yourself back to that calm state. I was watching, I don't even remember, this YouTube popped up, and they said the best way to really regulate anything, whether you can't stomach something, whether you have anxiety, it almost reminds me when you give birth, right? You do that breath, right? So you're breathing in through your nose, and then you go, and it sets the brain and it sets your vagus nerve. And it's a tool that we were given at birth. But the greatest gift, just breathe. And really recognize how you're breathing, because you can, when you're stressed, you're right. You feel it. Concentrate, stop, listen, breathe. That can help. But these are just some of the little tools that I've used for myself, and you can use them for yourself. You can add to them, but I just thought they're simple.
That's beautiful. I can totally I love breath work. I've been actually doing quite a lot of it lately, and there's just something about dropping into heart and brain coherence, getting out of the mind and into the body. It's really precious. B has a question. She says she can't turn her camera on because she's not alone right now. For the last couple of days, I've suddenly experienced grief at the loss of my last 22 years of life. I am gentle with myself and have allowed this to be the way it is. Today, I realized I also have grief for the loss of my childhood, which I lived in constant fear. I've always been optimistic and look on the bright side, but I think this has either disallowed me from feeling my feelings, or I just buried them, and I don't know how to feel them now. Any thoughts, dear ones?
Yes. So, first of all, I don't want you to be hard on yourself. As a child, when that happened to you, you didn't have the skill to learn how to heal. It was that trauma set deep within you, almost like a little seed, and it starts to grow. What I'd like you to do is, if you can and do this later, take the time to close your eyes, ask the divine to be with you during this time, to surround you in his love and light, because you'll be releasing, and see your inner child. Say, I'm here for you. And hug her and let her know that she's always been safe. And what happened to her was not for her to hold. And whoever did this to you, you both can hold hands and hand it over to the person that put that onto you, as that was theirs to hold and not for them to put onto you. You may cry. You may feel a release. You may feel a lightness, a shift, and it may take time. But once you ask the divine and you do this beautiful connection with your inner child, you will see that she's felt unseen. She's felt invisible. And it's time for her to shine. And you're a beautiful soul. And I'm even touched that you're able to be vulnerable to share that. And that's the first step. So good job.
And it's a sign of healing that you're actually aware of this at this point, because before there was just so much blockage there that it's now bubbling up where you can be aware of it. And I have found repeatedly that people can heal quickly by connecting to that little version of themselves that didn't feel safe, didn't feel validated, didn't feel cared for. All the things that we need as kids, but often there's a period of time where we don't get that. And so we internalize that we're not valuable, we're not good, we're not worthy. All those stories that we tell ourselves that ends up doing damage to us over time. So if we can go back, and we are the best people for this task, because nobody knows the little version of ourselves better than we do. We know the challenges that are coming up for that little girl or boy. We know what was missing then, what they needed to hear, and maybe just have that conversation, when you can finally go back and connect to that scared little child, what did you need then? What kind of support did you need? What kind of validation did you need? And it's usually things like, you are worthy, you are smart, you are clever, you are creative, which all children are, but we just didn't get that message when we were little in whatever traumatized environment we grew up in.
And it happened in divine time, like you're here now. Like maybe it took to this point for it to now be open, like you're ready now, right? Like you were saying. And I think also, I've lost my train of thought. It just went poop. I think that when you are in that space of feeling like unworthy, right? Not enough, I want you to also ask yourself, what have you learned from this? Because there's great lessons. It's like when I talk to my beast inside me, what do you want me to teach? What do you want to teach me through this cancer? And I didn't see it right away. It took time until I went through it. And then I used to say, now I saw my beauty in the beast. And so I really believe the things that we go through, we're having a human experience and a lesson. So just say, this was a harsh lesson, but what did I get from it? Because you have value from it. You really do. And maybe it's just you'll be helping the next person. Mm-hmm. Love yourself. That's the biggest thing.
And B, I know you have a huge creative side, so perhaps something in the area of creativity and painting, bringing art and beauty to the world is part of what you want to birth.
Exactly. And, if it doesn't work the first time because you try, don't try. Just put the intention out, close your eyes, and let it all evolve. And yeah, it's more beautiful that way. If we try to do it, then we're looking for expectations, and if we just let go, the divine takes over, and you'll feel it. It's just undeniable. Like I weep every time I feel the divine. I'm like, there's so much love there, and that's what I want for you, B, is just to feel with that embrace of love on the inside and out.
And B, I don't know if you were on the call, but we talked about her Army for Love. Debra has a free Tuesday at 3 p.m. Arizona time. Arizona changes, so right now it's same as Pacific, but it does vary.
Go to mountain, yeah.
Yeah. So take advantage of that and come on the call, get the energy of the group and the beautiful angelic energy that Debra brings to that environment.
Yeah, because there's a free mini healing. Yeah. At the top of the hour. So I think you would benefit from it. Mm-hmm.
Who else has a question? Feel free to raise your hand, put the question in the chat.
Debbie, I had an Akashic Records reading and I had a bunch of questions. And then at the end I said, is there a question I should ask? So I don't want to put you on the spot, but does something come in collectively for all of us or that I should ask that pops in your head?
I think one of my biggest messages that I try to tell everybody, right now in the world, we're always trying to compete or be someone we're not. I need to have the best job. I need to make the best money. I need to drive the best car. Then people are going to see I need to wear this or that. I look a certain way, act a certain way to fit in with this group of people or my status. I think the most important thing is that we always show up as our authentic self. And if we do, that's the highest form of love, self-love. And we forget that. And I think the other part is we forget to listen to our inner voice. We turn that off. I don't know why we turn that off. I think there's so much noise on the outside that we think that the answer is somewhere else. I'll Google it. Oh, my friend will know this. Or I'll get an answer from someone else.
Someone else.
Right? I'm searching. Like you just asked, what do you want us to know? When that inner knowingness is within us, and we have to listen to that voice, that inner knowing, people go, well, I don't even know how to hear that. It's a powerful feeling. It's kind of like, I know I have to do this. I can't explain it. It's within me so strong. I have to do this. It's like when I had hemorrhoid and I went to a rectal doctor and the doctor said, just leave it alone. It's not that bad. It's going to be fine. 4 months later, I woke up to a voice, whether it was the divine voice or my inner voice. Get this out now. Okay? That was so strong. So I went back. She's like, what are you doing here? I said, I'm here. I would like you to take this hemorrhoid out. She argued with me. And I said, no, this is my strong knowing, right? I know me better than her, yet she's the doctor. Trust your inner guidance. Trust your inner knowingness. Had I not gotten that removed, because 4 days after I got that removed, I was told I had cancer and it was in my lymph nodes. If I would have left it, I don't know where I'd be. So listen to your inner voice. It's always there. The wisdom's there. Ask it the question, just like you asked me. Is there something you want me to know today? Or if you are, it's like I'm single, right? So I go out on a date and I always ask God, show me. Now, the way he's going to show me, it's not going to be in my mind, oh, he's good looking or he's not good looking or, X, Y, or Z. I feel it in my heart. It doesn't always happen right away. I'll be like, oh, he's so great. Yeah, he's so great. And then all of a sudden, the heart is closed. I'm like, are you kidding me? But I can't deny it. It's there. I asked and I was shown, and I have to listen to that. If I don't listen to it, then I have to go through the process, right? And it always comes back to the same. Your body and the signs and the knowingness will show you. You just have to listen. I hope that helped.
That's great.
But Deborah, okay, with your near-death experiences, how did you come back knowing? What was the strongest knowing when you came back? And what was the experience, and how did you know?
Okay, so I'll just go to all three. The first one, it was the night of Princess Diana. She passed, right? And so we all remember that. And I was always a group of girls, and I had a premonition, and I didn't know what a premonition was. And it was like, I don't want to get in the car. I'm a single mom of 3. I don't want to get in that car. And they're like, oh, you're overreacting. I didn't listen to that knowingness. I was not supposed to be in that car. And I got a major car accident. And it was divine intervention that came and opened that door of my car. I didn't know what divine intervention. This guy comes, he lifts me up, he talks to me, and he disappears. That door opened. What was that? That there's so much more than what I really see. So the afterlife and all of that. The second one, I was in a car accident again. I was in a left turn bay at a stop. I had no idea what was going to happen. And a man in a diabetic seizure hit me at 80 miles an hour. And when he hit, I was out of body. I was now watching it. And I'm watching this. And I feel a great being behind me say, are you ready? And I knew what that meant. I'm like, no, I'm a mom of 3. But I'm not going to survive that. There's no way I'm going to survive that. And before I knew it, I was in the back seat of my car. It was crunched. It was a 4-door Honda. It was crunched. I had all glass, all windows were broke. I had a mouthful of glass, and there were a police officer and a man standing next to him. And he's like, are you okay to the sir? And the sir goes, no, I don't. I'm speechless. I should have crushed her. When he said that, that's what I was seeing. That his car was going to come over, a truck was going to come over and crush me. So it downloaded like, wait a minute, I saw that. And I was trying to process everything. I'm in the back seat. I'm going, oh my God. And at that moment, I'm like, I went somewhere, but I heard spirit. Now, I had that gift as a child, but now that door is open again. So I went and got tested with Dr. Gary Schwartz and Dr. Julie Beischel at the Winbridge lab, and now I'm a lab certified medium. I needed to know, is this real? And so that opened that door. So these are little knowingnesses that you get, right? I heard spirit, I trusted it, right? I saw a vision. What was a premonition? So I'm learning. Third one, I'm sick, very, very sick, and I'm asking God to take me, which is hard to even imagine because I had 4 children, 3 out of the house and 1 at home. But I had no quality of life. I was in bed in so much pain. I lost all my dignity. I couldn't contain my bowels. And I just kept saying, God, just take me. Well, one morning I woke up and there were spiritual surgeons in my room. I wasn't scared because as a medium, I see spirit all the time. But I'm like, okay, what's this all about? I remember them cutting open in my abdomen, and it was super painful. Like, are you kidding me? I have to go through more pain? And so I was like, no, I don't. I'm going to remove my mind. I know I have to go through this. It felt like they were squeezing pus or whatever through like a straw, like a strawberry going through a straw, and you just got yank it out. And I'm like, oh. So I remember I'm going to just concentrate on my breath. I took a deep breath. And when I let go, I transcended out of my body. I started floating and floating like, this is wonderful. I'm not in any pain anymore. And then I came, and I love your clouds because I came like I was standing on a cloud. And I'm looking all around, I'm like, okay, I guess I just need to be in this space. And this beautiful light just kept coming towards me, towards me, towards me, towards me. And all of a sudden there were these hands, and I could see my body in the divine's hands. I go, ooh, must be really sick. He's carrying me. So now I'm thinking my spirit must be watching this. But I wasn't consciously thinking it all. I was going through the motions. It wasn't until I thought about it later. And I went and had a conversation with God. So I won't go through the whole story, but I had a conversation with God. And God said I was on borrowed time. So remember the state 120, 112, all numbers are reversible, and so will your illness be. But you will go back with a new gift. And the gift would be healing. I was like, well, I know mediumship's healing. I just thought it was that. And it was far greater than that. He was teaching me by having a spiritual surgeon come in my room, by releasing and surrendering and allowing God to work. I asked if I could stay. I begged, can you just show me my parents? Can I see my parents? Please, please, please. And he's like, nope, nope, nope. We're not in that dimension. We actually went into a space like a dome where he said no one else could hear this. And he told me if I went back, I said, I don't want to go back sick. But I didn't come back healthy right away. And that's important because it wasn't like it was immediately. It took about 6 months. But during that 6 months, I was also learning the process of healing and journaling and working with my own body and working with the divine. So there's a strong knowingness. I will tell you, I could almost cry right now. I came back. I had a loving marriage. And I shared with my former husband at the time. And he said, this isn't a walk I can do. I went, what? But you know me. I'm doing this out of love for people. Yeah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to have God in my life. I don't want this in my life. I don't want to walk the walk. So if we went to counseling, it's basically, you can do this, but don't ever talk about it. What? But this is who I am. And the counselor agreed. And I said, no, there's a strong knowingness in me that says, I took an oath. I'm here to do this. This is my new mission. So I had to walk away from every security I had. I became suicidal. I was a stay-at-home mom. I financially had nothing. But God was molding me to teach me that no matter what happens, you guys, we will always have enough. So whether I was sick, whether I was financially not, I always had what I needed when I needed it. Always. And that's that strong knowingness that I trust today. It frees you from the stress of worry, because the worry is not going to change things. But if you can really, really know that your source, your divine, is the source of everything, and trust it, because there's times where it's like, okay, why am I, what am I supposed to be doing if you're not bringing healings to me right now? Instead of going, oh no, what next? It's like, there's something I'm supposed to be doing, and it will be like all of a sudden my family member needs me. I need to travel and be with them, or something else is. I always go, where am I needed? But it's never like it's a trust. So not only a knowingness, but a trust. You have to trust beyond faith. It's the trust within, and holding that divine love's hand, knowing that you're not alone through any of it. And you're just having a human experience going through these lessons. So the knowingness of having that hemorrhoid, getting it out, speaking my voice, the knowingness of I have to do this I have to do this healing work, no matter the cost of, my whole entire family and foundation changing. He was molding me into standing strong in that knowingness and in that trust. Because as a healer, and you know this, Tara, like, we are saying things that don't make any sense, right? We're seeing, we're hearing, we're feeling, and we're voicing it. That's a knowingness, but that's a trust. And if I didn't have that trust, I couldn't be the healer I am. So see how he was molding me. And
These experiences really are what
make us who we are.
Yeah, the human experience of all those different things building on each other to teach you.
He teaches all of us.
Gives you the empathy that you would not have had you not gone through those experiences. It's one thing to be a healer, and there are a lot of gifted healers out there that have no empathy. They have sympathy and they have concern and understanding, but if they've not experienced that pain, they've not known what it was like to have cancer, they've not known what it was like to lose a serious relationship of years and years because of being who you are now, the growth that you've had, then the empathy has to be there. And that's what I hear you saying. That's what he taught you. That's what he took you through, was all those experiences so that you would have an empathetic way in addition to the gift of the healing.
I believe that, and thank you for saying that because I always thought before cancer, I have enough compassion. I didn't know what compassion was when it came to cancer. Like, I didn't. I struggled as a child. I was the invisible child. My mother was sick all through my life. My father ended up committing suicide. He was my best friend. I learned about suicide. First marriage was physical abuse. So I went through, I had to go back to my childhood too, and go, what did this give me and how can I use it? And I'm not going to be the victim. I'm going to be the victor. And once you can see it that way, and say, wow, like, I'm not angry at my father. I embrace him and I learned from him for what he did. I was angry at the beginning. I had to walk through all that. That was not fun. I hurt as a child because I always wanted a mother that was healthy, and I watched all my friends and I didn't understand it, but I look at her as a hero. Look what she endured. And so I didn't get to really know her the way at all. But I know her in my heart. And so when I know her now from the other side, I get little bits and pieces, but I know there's a great love. I was always loved, even though they may not have been able to love me in the way that they wished they could because they had so much going on. So you look at that and go, am I supposed to digest what they were experiencing? Or am I supposed to say, because I could look at my mother and say, oh my gosh, maybe that'll happen to me. And I don't. I say, no, thank you, Mom. That was your journey. It's not mine. And I think it's important that we look and say that was their journey. They'd be happy, even if they're past they'd be happy for you to hand it back. Because that was their stuff that they were going through. They could have been ill. They could have had their own issues happened to them that made it happen. I'm not trying to make it right. I'm trying to make it like it's not yours to hold here. And so I did that with both my parents. Like, I've learned so much from you, but that was a part of my life will not become who I am. Right? Even though it is a little bit who I am because I went through it. Right? So that's a tricky line. But it's these experiences, like my children will go, God, you just lived such a hard life. Why did you choose to leave your second husband? Life was going so well for you. Why would you go back to, because when I left my first husband, me and my children lived on the floor for 2 years with like $20 in our pocket every week. We ate peanut butter and jelly. My son never had diapers. So we're very close. So they saw what I went through. They went through it with me. And they're like, you're going to leave again? You're going to take the chance to do this again? Why would you do this? Mom, life is good for you. You're financially secure. Financially means crap. Money is money. Right? But when you're seen for who you are and you're able to value who you are and my gift, and I just was I know today I wouldn't be who I am, and I love who I am and the peace that I have in my life right now, my center. And it took a long time to get there. And I have no regret or anger towards my former husband. He honored his truth. He told me he can't do this. If he wouldn't have said that,
Right.
I would have had one foot in, 1 foot out, and it never would have been where I am today. So as much as I was devastated and had to walk through a lot, I'm grateful he honored his truth. So
That's a beautiful part of the story. And see, that's what Tara knows, because Tara knows my story. But I was terribly abused by my brother as a child.
Oh.
Sexually and physically. And I didn't know about the sexual part until I was an adult, actually married. And he had gotten therapy and he came and apologized to me.
And that woke that up.
It woke it up. And I went, oh, shit. I got to go back in myself to therapy, get some more help.
And it was all about divine timing, because
perfect divine timing.
You were old enough to
right, and I had a support system. I had a wonderful partner. At that time, I was married to my current husband, and just tremendous support. But it was a gift given me by divine of forgiveness, because in that forgiveness, since then, I have understood him. God has given me unbelievable understanding of the ancestral abuse.
Yes, yes.
And the amount how important it was that I acknowledged that, and that for the first time, he lives so far away. We communicate via Facebook mostly. He lives in the Philippines. And we get along. We have a wonderful relationship because I know that he saved me.
Yeah, but you have a really big heart, because
opened
forgiveness
my
is hard. Yeah, but
he did that.
I know.
Gift of that experience. And in that, the ability to see that through understanding that he was all he knew how to be. He had no choice but to be who he was with what he was experiencing. My grandfather was a pedophile, there's no doubt.
Yeah, see.
And
so you were able to see that.
And but that's the gift that's been given me, and taking that and using it. I understand abuse when I see it. I understand people that are going through it. And there's nothing that I can say. And that's the other gift that I've been given. No words are necessary. The most important thing for me to be is to be healed and to be whole and to love me.
Yeah,
and to have that coherence of my heart and my brain, and make sure that I stay in that space. And if I stay in that space, then what goes on around me is what's happening around me. It's not happening to me.
100%. I love that. One of the things that I learned with the sexual abuse was, because my sister would often ask, like, how'd you deal with that? Because I was aware it was happening too, right? So I said I would just release and say, can't touch my soul. He can't hurt my soul unless I allow it, right? Yeah, it hurt me. I had to walk through it mentally, but I'm like you said, I'm me, right? It's like you can't touch that inner soul of yours. And don't ever think you're damaged, because you're not. I look at all these things that we go through life. They're like little cracks. We crack, right? This I have a crack here, I have a crack there, I have this here. That's where the light now starts to shine through, right? It's kind of like, what are those Chinese bowls where they have the cracks and then they fill them with gold? These are all little gold cracks for you to shine and say, I learned from this, and I learned from this, and I embraced this by loving myself.
There's even songs written about that, and it's so true that if we can accept ourselves. I remember when I first started doing inner child work, I was so disconnected from my inner child. I didn't even like the younger version of me. So it really took a lot of going back and finding that version of me that I could really love and support and open my heart to.
Oh yeah, I dated all the wrong people just because I didn't feel enough, when I was younger. And and that's probably why I married the person I married, and da da da. But I look back as they each played a role. And if I can say that, like, everybody that comes into my life plays a role. And what is my role as well? And so with my former husbands, like, we played the role. We raised our children. My fourth child was only like in third grade. But I don't know. There's something like with my first three children living on the floor for 2 years, even though it was rough, we are strong. My children have a bond that when I pass, I know they're there for each other. So you see, like you said, man, the gift. What's the gift out of it all? And the time of me raising my daughter on my own, me and her, she has grown into such a strong woman, learning to have a voice. Even my older daughter's like, oh man, I wish I was like her at that age. Because she's learning what I learned and what throughout my entire life. I would be like, I used to teach her saying, okay. She's like, Dad just doesn't understand all the time. I go, well, just think of him as a puppy. And you tried to tell him so many times, if he doesn't get the trick, he's never going to. And she's like, oh, that's a really good tool. Yeah, so don't think that it, sometimes people just are not going to get it, and that's who they are. But give them the opportunity to try. So always voice. And she's just such a strong being for it. And I'm just like, would she be who she is if I was with him? She may not have learned those same things. So you just look at everything as, I try to see the blessing through everyone that, through every situation. And even when it's hard, I don't see the blessing out of this yet. I don't see why that door had to close. I don't see it. I really thought we were going to walk through that door. I don't get it. All right. And then I have to sit and maybe grieve it, or just go, I know I'll see it eventually. Not try to see it, and just allow it to unfold naturally, because it'll show. It's like planting the seed for the flower to grow. It just takes its time, and you'll see that beautiful flower come up. I had a wonderful woman that I know that lost her child She loved planting. And so she put her grief in the soil by planting. And she's like, every time I plant a seed, I'm getting rid of my stuff. And then she got to see them all blossom. And some things that was so negative, giving the gift back of the beauty that came. Just it's so beautiful what nature can do for us. So yeah, to use everything around you, even the birds singing, taking a walk, being like my home. I just feel so like it's my sacred space. It's like, Debra, you need to get out of it once in a while. You know? And it gets hard because you're like, this feels good, but you have to be open to what else is going to come to you. And life is a journey, and healing is a journey. Healing, like I said, is not linear. It's always cycling. You know, we're healing constantly because we're growing. And I look at everything that I've gone through, whether it's as shifts, right? These are shifts. Even when somebody has a baby in the family, that's a shift, or a marriage, that's a shift. They're good shifts and hard shifts, but just embrace them all. Embrace yourself, because, you know, we came into this world with our first breath, and we're going to leave with a new breath. And, but we have to put ourselves first. I think that's what is really important. We do so much for others, even our animals, that sometimes we have to say, I have to put myself first right now.
That's hard.
It's very hard. When I had cancer and I had to have my children take care of me, I'm like, what is this about? But it is really, it's important. And if you don't, and you're in that spiraling mode and you don't take that time, you're just going to spiral more. So you really have to, like I said, you know, you're going to transition. And I really believe, do the inner work here so that when you transition, you're just free. Like, okay, I can drop it all. Here I go. I'm good now. And because you won't be traveling with heavy baggage, put it that way, right? And it's a good feeling. So do your work and put yourself first, because I thought I had the foundation with someone and I lost it just like that. I had no choice to just be with myself. And it was hard. Like I said, suicide was there. I was scraped me off the floor because I couldn't see. I couldn't see, like, how am I going to get groceries? How am I going to do this? And my heart was broken. If somebody can't love me for who I am, who's going to love me? How am I going to do this work? I need to love myself. And I did. And I remember my son, even, he knew it. He saw it in my eyes. He's like, Mom, you know we need you. You know you need to stay here. And he secretly showed me that I was going to be a grandma. And I was like, oh, that's a little angel coming. I got to stay. So God works in such beautiful ways. He tries to show you the magic that's all around you. Don't forget that. You know, it's everywhere, even when we don't feel it. All you have to do is ask. I say it, you know, hug me every night. Be with me. But when I do ask and I get such a strong knowingness, like, I always know in my heart, like, it'll just be, oh, this is great. Or nope, strong now. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, what? Huh? But you asked. I know, but really? Right? Really? I really wanted that. And then you trust because you don't know what that outcome could have been. But you just, by doing that, I saved myself so much more that I would have maybe gone down the wrong path and still came back to it. But it so I listened. So I'm like, okay, all right, I don't see it now, but I trust it. So the guidance is there for you guys. Trust the inner guidance. Trust the knowingness. And ask, what is your way of knowing?
Can I ask a quick question? Sorry.
Yeah.
I've been doing deep meditation, and I ask the question, and you can hear it. So it's such a gift, and I get the intuition, but I don't hear the voice like, no, yes.
You don't have
How
to.
do
I don't hear it either. I feel it.
You feel it.
So I might hear Debra no, but when I'm really asking something for myself, like in a relationship, right? Okay, this beautiful person, this just happened to me. I'm like, this is everything that I want. Oh my God, you brought the perfect person. Oh, and I even said to the person, I don't understand. I don't understand. And I asked for the yes or no. Yes is my heart is going to feel wonderful. No is going to be absolutely not. And it is so solid, so solid. And I said, please, 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 please let me not have to say it and he see it. And the very next morning, he called and he said, I see that we can't be intimate partners. We can just be soul partners. I'm like, oh, I prayed about that. You heard, So it's just beautiful that if you just trust it and be open to it. One of my first states after being married was I went back to a high school friend, and we dated for months, and I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. So it's the first time I said, you just show me in the heart. Okay, so he's traveling here, going to be like 10 days. We're going to go to Stono. We have all these plans. He gets off the plane. He has a dozen yellow roses. He looks all handsome. He comes to me and my heart goes, whoop. I go, could you not have waited till the 10 days? Like really right now? So I told him immediately because I wanted to honor him. And he's like, well, why didn't you wait? I go, because if I walked through 10 days, I would have walked through, it wouldn't have been real. And then I had to watch him cry and go through all of this. But I'm telling you, it's so strong. So find, if you want to ask God to show you with your emotions. Your emotions do not lie. Your heart will not lie. Mm-hmm. Your brain does. Your ego does, but your heart won't. So work on that, because I'm telling you, you'll be at the point where you're like, oh, what? Are you kidding me? But it'll be so strong that it's like a brick. There's no feeling at all. Even though I had feelings, and then all of a sudden it's just, sometimes I'm like, is there something wrong with me? I just went from one switch to the next, but I asked, and it's not me. I think of it like, I try to tell people, rejection is protection. Mm-hmm. No matter what. Whether it's not seeing the right doctor, you think you're seeing the right doctor and they're not answering the calls and you have to find somebody else, that's a closed door. Whether it's a career change and you're like, oh, are you kidding me? Rejection is protection. Something's happening for you, not against you. Remember that. Yeah. So thanks for asking, because it gets tricky and we always think we have to hear it. Mm-hmm. Why can't I be that medium? Why can't I hear things? Because we don't always hear, like even in healings, right? Tara, we feel, and we might know where it's happening rather than see it. So it's not always what we see or what we hear, we feel. So use all of your senses and just say, God, which way is the best for me? Show me. I'll keep all of them open.
What would you say, Debra, if somebody's rejecting themselves?
Rejecting themselves. I would say, Close your eyes. See the divine in front of you. And tell God what you don't like about what he did, what you are. And he will look at you and say, you're a magnificent being, just the way you are. And I really sit with that because it's easy for us. I wish I had this, or I wish I liked that, or I'm rejecting, my true power of who I was created to be. You are created to be this magnificent being, and you already are that. You don't have to try to be anything more. So people constantly are thinking, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy. And it's like, but you are. You were created. If you don't like that, how would God feel? I don't like who you created me to be. And he would say, but you're my masterpiece. Each one of you are a masterpiece. Every night we watch the sunset and go, oh, there's another one of God's masterpieces. That's what he says when he looks at all of us. You're a masterpiece. You're a masterpiece. We all have our own gift. We all have our own way of thinking. There is no right or wrong. Just be you. Just be you.
I love that you said that. And I think so much suffering comes in our society today, when we are comparing ourselves, the whole keeping up with the Joneses, your clothing, your car, the zip code you live in, the whole comparison game, I see it drag a lot of people down. And
well, we have all the influencers. I mean, look at the younger kids that are saying, but I want that life. They're traveling, they're wearing all these clothes, they're getting all this free stuff. I want that. But is that reality?
Well, it's also external validation, and none of us are ever going to feel whole with seeking external validation.
No, and how are those people feeling? Because they have to be everything that they're not.
Yep.
Right? So it takes a strong person to be who they are in that world, right? But it also takes a strong person that has who we are to be in this world.
And nothing is more attractive than somebody that is
authentic,
happy and authentic in their own skin, whether they're whatever socioeconomic level, whatever consider,
right.
whatever version of beauty or whatever. I mean, sometimes it's the person that isn't all that is so attractive because they're so comfortable in their own skin.
100%. You can see they're not insecure. They just are fine within their own skin, like you said. And people have such a hard time showing up as their authentic self. Really do.
I think that goes back tribally. I think, we're raised by these crazy monsters we call mom and dad. And it's like, if there's discord in the family, we have to shift and change and develop all the stress patterns, the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Fawning are the people pleasers. And we develop all these stress patterns in order to just be okay and put on the version of a mask that we think society wants from us.
Or if you've always been told, been abused from a parent, you're not enough. That's ingrained in you. And then that becomes, well, that's who I am. And so that's something that really has to just be let go and say, who put those words on me?
I love to say people are like an iPhone 17 operating on iPhone 4 technology. And once the iPhone 17 can go, oh, I'm not an iPhone 4, I actually am an iPhone 17, it'll be willing to make that journey from where it is to where it wants to go.
Oh, that's amazing. I like that a lot. So. Yeah. Life is full of lessons and how we want to embrace them, walk through them. And it's going to get messy. I mean, that's what it just is. We can't all become who we are if there is no mess. Right? If it was all beautiful, we wouldn't know what beautiful is when we see it.
I usually describe it as going to the gym. If all the weights weighed 2 ounces, how strong would you get?
Yes. See? Yeah. But do something for yourself that brings joy. And if it's like, I can't even do anything for myself, go buy yourself flowers. Smell the joy, see the joy. Do something that's going to bring that joy, because joy raises that vibration. And by doing that, that's an act of love for yourself.
And it can be so simple, like tasting an organic strawberry or smiling at a dog that's waving its tail at you. I mean, assuming it's not assuming it's a friendly dog. But there is so many, like you said, the bird singing when you were feeling so sick and like you couldn't get out of bed, just being aware of the bird singing was something to raise your vibration.
Yeah, I think it's important. And that's self-care and that's self-love. Right. And when we do that, that it kind of just spirals and it heals the soul. We feel good as a person. It's wonderful.
Debra, I really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. It was so wonderful listening to you just open your heart and share your amazing story with us. There was just so much wisdom packed in all the pearls that you gave to us, the being authentic, the being present, the having curiosity, being kind to ourselves, just beautiful, beautiful gifts.
Well, you bring it out. So thank you.
My pleasure. And just let everybody know where they can find you, follow you, how they can join your Tuesday group.
Yeah, my handle is Debra Martin Healer. So on all Instagrams, everything is Debra Martin Healer, YouTube's. But if you go to my website at Debra Martin Healer, you go under the Army for Love page. You can see a testimonial live of somebody speaking what happened to him. And the Zoom link is always on there. It never changes. So you just click on that on Tuesdays at 3. You join like this. We end up having a conversation and it just is organically. And then we go into a mini healing and you get to put your intention out there. And it's just, it touches you in different ways. You might be healed emotionally, physically, or spiritually, or you might just be witness something else and go, oh my gosh. And that opens another thing within you. So I welcome you because it's, for me, I never know what's going to transpire, but when I'm done with the Army for Love, I'm like, oh my gosh. And if you want to experience them, I do, because it never loses its power or essence. I record them and then they're $4.44 on my website. And so people that have had healings, they can go get it, download it and have it forever and revisit what they just went through. But I do title what I feel happened and transpired in there. So if you want a little taste of it, you could do that as well. I thank you guys for joining and asking the questions. And yeah, it was really meaningful.
Thank you so much.
And heart-centered.
Thank you. And Gail, yes, people are going to get the recording. So if you came in late, no problem. We'll send the recording out. And if anybody wants to dive into their subconscious mind, you can find me at consulttara.com and my podcast, Next Level Healing. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate everybody showing up, holding this beautiful space. And Debra, your story was just so moving.
Oh, thank you. You're amazing. And all of you are amazing. Thank you for being here. Blessings to you all.
This podcast is intended for the purpose of providing information and education. It does not provide advice and is not meant to be used for any self-diagnosis or the replacement of any kind of licensed professional. The creators and individuals appearing here do not endorse any specific tests, positions, medications, products, or procedures. The views and opinions are expressed in this podcast are of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.